Hello to Pioneer viewers. As you know, the Ukrainian-Russia war is on our agenda. While clashes continue on the front line, new developments are taking place in the background that will affect the fate of the war. The most important factors that makes the state's army superior to others are technological and personal quality. The well-trained soldiers in the army greatly affect the course of the war. Armies consisting of inexperienced soldiers may win battles, but at the end of the day, they cannot be the winners of the war, because fighting is a product of the military strategy and intelligence. For this reason, well-equipped and trained soldiers in military units can change the fate of the war. Likewise, technology is one of the most important factors that change the course of the war. Armies with good technological capabilities can establish superiority over the other armies. Today, the unit where technology and equipped soldiers are most effective is known as the Air Force. Fighter jets and qualified personnel can significantly affect the fate of the wars with an air-per operation. For this reason, fighter pilots are among the most important units of armies. The Ukrainian army also underwent a rapid renewal process after Russia's invasion attempt. The Air Force personnel of the Ukrainian army received important training and were assigned to serve Ukraine. The Air Force of the Ukrainian army had sent many military personnel for training to use F-16 type fighter jets. The big news was announced the other day. Now, if you're ready, let's examine the latest developments together. Ukrainian Air Force spokesperson Yuri Igant made very important statements the other day. According to Yuri Igant's statements, Ukrainian pilots selected for F-16 training have successfully completed their trainings. With the completion of the training, Ukrainian pilots will start F-16 flights in the coming days. According to military experts, the increase in the size of the Ukrainian Air Force and the number of qualified personnel will significantly affect the course of the war. For now, the Ukrainian army is using unmanned aerial vehicles to launch airstrikes. Airstrikes by qualified and trained pilots using F-16 fighter jets are expected to be more effective and far-reaching. Last May, U.S. President Joe Biden approved the supply of F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine. In the month following the approval, the U.S. Department of the Defense announced that Ukrainian pilots would be trained to use F-16 fighter jets effectively and to gain the skills they would need to do so. At the press conference last month, Pentagon spokesperson Brigadier General Pat Ryder emphasized the continued U.S. support for Ukraine, particularly through special F-16 fighter jets training programs for Ukrainian pilots. At the beginning of his speech, Ryder recalled the recent meeting between U.S. Defense Secretary Austin and Ukrainian President Zelensky. He emphasized that this meeting provided an opportunity for the United States to reaffirm its unwavering support for Ukraine. Secretary Austin spoke about U.S. security assistance aimed at meeting Ukraine's most urgent needs on the battlefield. The F-16 training program aims to provide Ukraine pilots with the skills they need to operate in the variety of combat scenarios. The training program includes not only flight maneuvers, but also tactical planning and engagement. Thus, it aims to increase the overall effectiveness of the Ukrainian Air Force. Ukrainian pilots who have completed their training are expected to arrive at their units and start their duties. The United States and European countries are providing significant support in terms of the F-16 systems and ammunition. This initial support should continue in the current phase of the process. In the background, Ukrainian authorities are making moves to win the war. Likewise, the military units on the front continues to defend the homeland. A statement was made by the Air Force of the Ukrainian Armed Forces the other day. According to these statements, Russian drones organized an attack later in the night. 13 Iranian-made drones and guided air missiles Kh-59 used by Russian troops to attack Ukraine were destroyed by the Ukrainian defense. While the Ukrainian army managed to prevent the Russian attacks, shocking information emerged. Ukrainian Air Force spokesman Yuri Igant issued a stern warning about the appearance of the unqualified drones built with engines sourced from the online markets. The warning follows a morning incident in which Ukrainian authorities reported that 2 drones launched by the Russian forces were approaching Ukraine from a northerly direction. Alarmingly, however, these drones managed to evade interception. These homemade and inexpensive vehicles have some advantages, despite being made from the seemingly primitive materials sourced from the online marketplace. They are considered a significant threat because of their combat payloads capabilities and their potential for use attacks relatively high-value targets. Primitive and improvised drones pose potentially significant threats. The Ukrainian military is trying to develop new technologies to counter these developments, which will significantly challenge Ukrainian air defenses. The Ukrainian military's technological breakthroughs have also forced the Russians to produce alternative vehicles, while the vehicles produced by Russia look primitive. Ukrainian Air Force spokesperson Igant spoke about the difficulties of dealing with non-standard vehicles. He said that they have insights and remnants of what Russians are using, but despite this, he said that they are not always accurate. Remnants of engines bought on the internet have been found in Russian drones. Such makeshift aircraft are often called sticks, Igant said, adding that this was not the first interesting effort by the Russian troops. Igant said that he had encountered the same kind of weapons in the previous days and that the situation of the Russian troops was very bad. The Ukrainian army is closely following developments outside the front line. Likewise, Kiev officials are making statements that will influence world politics. Russia is expected to take more constructive steps in the coming period because there seems to have been no other options. As the Ukrainian army increases its attacks, the Russians are cornered. The statements made by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine revealed not only the successes of the counterattack, but also the successes of the defense. Over the past day, Ukrainian defense units repelled more than 60 Russian attacks in Kupiansk, Lyman, Bakhmut, Avdiivka, Marinka, Shakhtarsk, and Zaporizhia axis. The inability of the Russian troops to advance on the offensive position gives confidence to the Ukrainian defense. Likewise, the success of Ukrainian counterattack is causing a loss of morale in the Russian defense. As fighting continues on the front, new gains and positions are expected to emerge in the coming days. How do you assess the capabilities of the Ukrainian Air Force? How do you evaluate the pilots joining the Ukrainian army and their training process? Do you think the F-16 fleet will make a difference for the Ukrainian Air Force? What do you think about the Russian troops, counterattacks, and weapons technology? Do you think there will be new gains as a result of the clashes? We value your opinion. Please share it with us.